let's talk about this fucking Snyder cut. And that's
okay. One thing we have to mention. Get this out of the air. First of all, I'm just being completely honest. I was in the mindset of if it happens, it happens, but I really don't care if it does or not at this point. But we have someone here who was picket fence, basically never gave up on it, even though we think he kind of did sometimes. I could have sworn he did sometimes. According to him, he never gave up, but he always brought it back. No,
no, he's not talking about you. You got to talk about me. No. Listen, let me tell y'all. Listen, for everybody that's listening and watching right now, let me tell y'all right now what we as a collective unit thought about the Snyder cut. We wanted it, but did we think it was going to happen? Not necessarily. But if it did, we were just like, okay, cool, we get to see it. Now, let's dive into this actual fact. The Snyder cut is coming out. But here's the thing that nobody's talking about. Everybody's happy that they get to see the Snyder cut. Nobody's asking the actual question like, the Snyder cut can still suck. I'm just keeping it real.
Let me get to that one in a second. There's a few points I want to make, like from articles. I did a little bit of research on the Snyder cut because when it came out, just went all of but that's kind of like possibilities. Is it cool? I just mention this right quick. One thing I want to mention that was actually an article. Zack Snyder's wife. Apparently, they didn't know. Like, apparently, she gave a little bit of a comment saying that he kept posting things, but he never expected it to come out. He just kept posting because he was pissed. Along the lines, he's never seen the Joss Whedon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right now. He's never seen that cut. After he read the script, or supposedly he read the script, he's never seen that cut of the Justice League movie. So there's that. Sure. The mention of his wife actually saying that they called them like 2 months ago, confirming, you know what, we're gonna do this. Up until that point, he was just. Sorry, go ahead.
They didn't call them. They actually had a screening of it. Them and some brothers.
They screened it.
Had a screening,
they screened
had a screening of the movie not too long ago, and they basically and Warner Brothers is like, listen, we got HBO Max. We is in it, like regardless of if you want to be in it or not, you're in an extreme war right now with Netflix, Disney, Hulu, everything. So you have to make something that gets new subscribers in. And so what's the best thing they can do? Let's give everybody what they've been asking for the past 3 years. The Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, which from reports I've heard is like a 4.5 hour tape. So I don't know if they're gonna do it split it up into 4 different parts or one long director's cut.
It was in the article. They're doing it's 4 hours. They're either going 6 or going into releasing it together. Those are the options they have on the floor. Either 6 episodes or a full thing, a full 4 hour clip.
I think me personally, I want the full thing, but
right.
I think
it's a streaming platform. Just give me the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I know. I agree. That's where I'm at, but that's where the choices were at, if I'm correct. Either a 6-parter, split. They split the 4 hours into 6 parts, or just the full thing. They also mentioned that they're investing an extra $20 million, I believe, into the finish.
30 million.
30 million to finish the effects, basically.
So here's another thing that I have to ask, and it's weird to me because I think I know what the Snyder Cut is. There was a point after Justice League came out where Zack Snyder's what originally was supposed to happen in Justice League came out, like basically the entire rundown of what happens, and I've read that before, fucking Cyborg's supposed to die and shit.
The one that came out. The one that came out wasn't the full 4 hour one. The one that I believe came out was the one that was appeasing to the directors, to the board of directors of the company of what was it, Warner Media? Because originally he made 4.5 hours long movie, and then he went to them and then basically had to cut it down. So he brought it down to 2.5 hours where they settled, and that's, I believe, what was released. So we're still getting even more than was posted.
The movie we got was 2 hours. So they cut a lot. Even when they ask, I've seen people ask him about like certain things about Justice League, and he'd be like, "Wait, what? I've never heard of that. Like that wasn't in my version." You know what I'm saying? So I know his stuff is going to be different. But my question is, here's the thing: you add Darkseid, you probably add the Green Lanterns, you probably add Martian Manhunter, but that wasn't going to be shown in the movie. Still, that's just going to be little hints, of like basically stuff that you'll probably hope to see like in a future movie. Not only that, you still have essentially the same storyline with Steppenwolf. Like, I don't care how much longer you make the movie, Steppenwolf is still gonna be Steppenwolf.
No, yes, but
I don't want to make it sound like I'm like shitting on the Snyder Cut because I'm happy to see it too. But like, I feel like there's certain stuff, no matter how much longer you make the movie, it's not gonna change.
Now, again, I'm going off just things that I've read in different articles and just a couple of things I've mentioned. But from what I've gotten so far, is the fact they've mentioned is the fact that it's a different movie. Even Zack Snyder's I mentioned it was a different movie, and I was like, to me, it didn't make sense because it was like, how do you know it's going to be a different movie if you've never seen the Joss Whedon movie? But apparently, it's because he's read the script or knows the outline.
Well,
but
no, I think Cuz just said it. He knows it's going to be a different movie because, like, he doesn't have to see it. If people are tweeting him, asking him questions, he knows what he wrote. And if they're asking questions about the Joss Whedon movie that he knows, then that's not the same movie. That's how he knows it's going to be different.
Okay. So that's the thing that was confusing to me. But aside from that, I also got not the mindset, but as far as from what I've gathered anyway, it also comes down to the fact that they're changing the score. They're changing, what was it? Aside from the score, they're changing something else to happen with the movie that's going to make it be different.
I saw that they're adding some dialogue.
Yeah, they're adding different things.
I did see that as well. So, I mean, it's going to be a different movie. How different? I don't know, but different.
That's what I want to know. Like, because I know Junkie XL did the score for the one that we got. And I think Hans Zimmer is going to do the one. Oh, I don't know, but that's who initially.
Isn't that backwards? Is that back? I thought that was backwards. I thought Junkie XL did it for the original one, and then they switched it. I don't know.
Nah, I think Junkie XL did it for the one that we got. And I think Hans is going to go back and I don't know if he's going to go back and do it or how they're going to do that. It's just mind blowing to me. Grant, I'm like I said, once again, I'm happy to see this version of it. It's just, I feel like Zach's movie is a lot of movie. Now, if this cut makes everything in BVS that we saw in BVS make sense, I'm going to be happy, considering the fact that, like, hey, like the nightmare scene with Superman and all that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't think it is. The reason I'm saying I don't think it's because remember back then when he made the movie, it was part 1 of part 2. So he made it of part 1. So that's what things got cut off. It was gonna be a 2-parter. So that's why I feel like this movie is gonna leave us wanting more at the end, which we can technically not get, but we probably might get as long as this movie does good. And, if it does good, anything's possible. We can
I want to ask you guys, right? Let's say that for whatever reason, shot in the dark, this movie, if it sucks, if it bombs, nothing changes, right? Nothing changes. Let's say it comes out to raving critical success from fans, critics. Does Warner Brothers try to change the direction? Because I just actually read a rumor, I think it was this morning, Henry Cavill may be back in talks to be Superman.
Yes.
Now pivoting from Supergirl back to Superman, right? If this movie comes out and people are like, this is what we wanted, this is what we thought we wanted when we were thinking about the Snyder Cut. It's great, critics love it, fans love it. HBO, like, does Warner Brothers start to change traction, try to get Henry Cavill back, and try to some way get a DC cinematic universe going?
Nope.
Let me let Moses answer first, because I got 2 answers to that.
Let me tell you why I say no. Simply because of this. This is just a version of the movie that people wanted to see. But considering the fact that what DC has strung together, I want to say like the past year and a half, with every single thing that they dropped, or whether Harley Quinn may not have made a lot of money, it was a critical and fan success. Shazam was the same way. Aquaman, you have Wonder Woman 1984 coming out. You have Black Adam, you have Shazam 2. Like all of these, you have the Suicide Squad directed by James Gunn. You have all of these things coming out that are can't just guarantee they're going to be good, but the string of those they've put together are really good. And if you halt all of that, because you got one film that came out and did numbers and did great, and you kind of like it's all that, it'll be first of all, it'll be disrespectful to everything you got working on, and like it'll just show Justice League coming out, the Snyder Cut coming out, and it being good just shows that you can do it, but you don't necessarily have to do it immediately.
So with that being said, you don't think at some point in the future that they try to, because a lot of fans believe that you need big three to all be good to be successful. Like you need a good Wonder Woman, you need a good Batman, you need a good Superman. You disagree?
Yeah, I do.
Real quick,
do.
just so kind of to go back to the subject I was saying before. The thing actually I want to mention, because it's part of the conversation that was happening a second ago. The reason I have two different answers for that, and they're both actually positives, and the reason I think it's going to work out. First of all, it's going to be money. If this is if it's a success when it comes out, and if they actually pick it back up, say what you want, the DCEU expanded universe is gone. The DC cinematic universe is basically gone for the Justice League anyway. They still can make all these different standalone films. So my answer to that is either this, what we're going to get in HBO Max, is either going to be an Elseworld standalone movie like Joker, and create a different timeline to have multiple different timelines, or vice versa. What we've already seen has been the Elseworld the entire time, and this new one picks up where they were supposed to pick up. By bringing the DCEU back, now that they have more time, they have more successful movies under their belts that we know we will like. What I'm basically saying, it's going to be a win-win for money as long as it works out. If it works out. Those are my two answers for like that. That's if it works out.
Let me go in on basically what you said. If this movie if Snyder comes out and is successful, it still just continues with what we already got. Because the films that we get right now, even though they're standalone film, they still all play in that same playground. The only film that's coming out that won't play in that playground was Joker, because it was an S-word type thing, and the Batman. The Batman won't be able to play in the same playground because, one, we have this Ben Affleck Batman is gone. Ben Affleck is out. And then you have Robert Pattinson, which also takes place early in life, which is supposed to be said that it later on connects into the current DCEU.
Yes.
So
I can answer your question with one answer. One word.
Flashpoint.
Is it one word? Thank you. Yes. That's how they can tie it back together to bring this back.
DC has success. This scapegoat in Flashpoint. Like I mean, they did it in the most recent movie. Like they did it we know that all you need is Flash is to go back and change something, and it resets the timeline.
Exactly.
Like I'm trying not to be biased. Like I want a Superman film. I don't give a shit if he teams up with them or not. I want Superman film. I like Superman as a character. He's my favorite. I do think him and Batman being in movie theaters are good for DC as a whole, right? Like if those two are successful, I think it does kind of lead the way for others to kind of be successful. But with that being said, I don't think they have to. I will say what DC has done so far has been good. I still think the only person who compares with Marvel is Wonder Woman. I don't know if Aquaman and Shazam are on the right track to compete with those movies. I think Wonder Woman is the only superhero DC has right now who can go toe to toe with the big on Marvel. But
exactly.
I do think DC still has a little ground to cover, and I'm not saying they need to, because they could easily have a home run without them. I just think it would be more helpful if the Batman movie is a success. And I'm not saying they have to have a team. They don't have to I think that's just what we've kind of been. I'm not even gonna say Marvel's did it. Like we're just used to, right? We grew up watching Justice League Unlimited, right? Like we're used to seeing them get together to fight big foes. Do I think if done right, they can kind of, use Flash as a scapegoat, set a timeline, kind of bring them back together? Like as long as makes sense, right? Like from a story standpoint, bringing the Flash and having them reset, you still get them back together. I mean, because as now, like you said, everybody exists in that playground except we got Batman kind of sitting out in limbo. Like you can bring Superman back, Wonder Woman exists, like we know Flash exists, we know all these people exist. The only kind of outlier with Ben Affleck being gone is Batman, and you can easily kind of reset that with Flash.
True, you can. It's just, and here's where it's gonna get real difficult. Now, 2 points. One, I think if the Snyder Cut is successful, I think that helps Superman in getting Henry Cavill another movie. Now, here's where Flashpoint will fuck up shit, because Matt Reeves is playing in his own playground right now. Like he and everybody knows, like he kind of wants his trilogy to be his own thing. Batman comes out before the Flash. Let's say the Batman movie comes out and is a success. And then you have Flashpoint where you kind of reset this whole timeline in order to get Batman in that same universe. Matt Reeves wants to have his own thing. So it's like, I don't want to have to like connect these two things together.
That's what I was going to go with. Like, to answer that one actually right quick, the way I was looking at it was the multiverse. DC has the multiverse. It is famous for the multiverse. You could technically have the same actor, 2 different directors. I know Matt Reeves will still have his own Batman. He'll do what he wants with his own Batman. And we'll have the actor, Robert Pattinson, come over here. Boom.
See, yeah, you saying boom, but at the same time.
Technically, you could kill off Ben Affleck Batman off screen. Flash goes to another Earth to get Batman, and boom, it's Pattinson.
As well, yes, another choice. That's the multiverse. So you have the multiverse and Flashpoint.
Flash in the multiverse and going. Flash makes it too easy.
It does. He does.
It's too easy to reset and change people out. Like he makes it way too easy.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know, man.
Even then, if you want to, you know what? Keep it in content. Let's leave Flash out. Let's stay in Batman content. Lazarus Pit. He's revived and he's younger than he was before. Boom.
I think, and then at that point, I kind of feel like you just like. Granted, I'm a DC fan, so I understand all of this. I kind of feel like you just kind of cheating like the regular consumer, because I feel like, you just doing this just for this reason. And
no, that's the point. That's the point, though. The businesses want whatever will make the most money.
It feels cheap.
So DC's put themselves in a bind. Let's just point like DC.
That's what it is.
Yeah, rushed it, and like you're rebooting Batman. We know he exists in Wonder Woman's universe and Aquaman's universe. You do a Flash movie, we know he exists. We know he exists in the Shazam universe because Superman exists. Like, now you're doing this Batman. Like, DC did it to them. Like, Warner Brothers did it to themselves. Like we got Henry Cavill. He's in, he's out. He's in, he's out. Like, we don't know. Like, they need to pick a course, stay with it.
For good or bad, they need to stick with it.
For good or bad, stick with it. Make the adjustments you need to, because let's be real about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When the first movie came out, the origin story, like Iron Man and Thor and Captain America. Iron Man's first movie, good. Thor's first movie, not good. Captain America's first movie, not good. Right? Like but they were building a story, right? And I think they knew this because, like, I think you get to a point to where you start to figure things out. You start to build that world, and people are coming anyway. Like I mean. You hate oh my God, what's her name?
Captain
Marvel. You told us not to go see that movie. I did anyway, because it's like, well, I've seen all of them up to this point, I might as well. Like, I think you get to that point. And if DC can kind of build that momentum and kind of, just slightly connect them. Like, it doesn't have to be a huge team up, but just know that, like, these people know one another, right? Kind of build it, like Marvel does a great job with end credit scenes, connecting the movies together.
Let me tell you what Marvel did, though. It was Agent Coulson.
Do what now?
It was Agent Coulson and Nick Fury. It was that one line that connected things.
Yeah.
That's what I feel DC is missing. DC is missing that one lifeline that connects here. Same person, consistency.
But here's the thing, though. I don't feel like they need that. Like everything, like we know it's connected. Like Shazam, with like the Batman.
We know
it.
The average consumer.
I think the average consumer. Like,
I'm saying right now, right now everything is fine, but I think we get to a point to where, as DC fans, I want this to keep going, right? And I think you can't have that keep going without some eventual meetup or team up. I think because you can only do so many standalone Wonder Woman or Batman movies. Wait 5 or 10 years, then you reboot it, you do another, you tell the same story again. Like DC has a lot of new stories. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Batman, you can keep retelling the same story in different ways from different directors and whatever the case may be. But DC has an amazing universe with an amazing cast of characters. Like Black Panther has become a household name when the majority of people had no idea who the fuck he was prior to Civil War, prior to Black Panther.
Right there.
DC can do the same thing with. I mean, you take the vast majority of Marvel's heroes. Iron Man, like the everyday person didn't know who that was, but they know who Batman, they know who Superman is. Wonder Woman, right? DC has the staying power, and I'm not saying that. Like, I agree with you. I think they're fine right now. Like right now, they don't make any changes. But I do think we have to get to a point to where if Warner Brothers wants a holistic success from the movies, I think you right now it's this, but I do think you start converging to that point where we have something where they do meet up, and if you need to diverge at that point, because like we have these amazing, powerful villains that no one superhero can take along in the DCU, so we need them to team up.
But here's my thing with that, and I agree with what you're saying. Considering the fact that DC got off to a rough start, the time is just not now.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not now.
It needs to be at least 5 years down the road. You have to stream. Like, you got off to a bad start with the fans. I mean, well, like the general, not necessarily the fans, but like the general audience. So you have to string together some wins until people start going to see films just because they're DC. Then you can start making those certain changes that you need. Like, I just don't like the Snyder Cut coming out is going to, I think, put DC back in. Like, once again, I'm happy that it's coming out, but I think it's gonna put DC in another position again to where they might. Hey, I think they're clamoring for us to like put things together again. When DC fans are, but the general audience isn't quite ready yet. They need the DC to put together some wins and have that name.
No, I agree with you. I think because Marvel has set up this kind of recipe that the general fans have come accustomed to, I know that Warner Brothers doesn't want to do it like Marvel, and they don't have to, right? Like, you might do it exactly like Marvel, but the recipe I do think, like you say, is some wins, some good standalone wins that throw like what Shazam did, right? Like, it was a good standalone win, and we had the Superman cameo, right? Like, you can do it like that and still have everybody have that standalone movies and know that, like, hey, all of these people know about each other. Like you say, 3 to 5 years down the road, get these wins with the new Wonder Woman, with Batman. Are we still doing a Flash movie? Is that still happening?
Yeah.
I thought Ezra Miller, like, did he slap some lady?
Oh, that's right. He did.
You know,
it's not funny. It's not funny. I'm not.
Call 1-800.
Slapping a woman. I can't. I don't know. But is that still happening?
I haven't confirmed.
It's supposed to still happen.
But I'll mention this right quick.
Anything about him being out yet?
Okay.
I want to just mention this right quick though. I feel like if we are going to want something like that to be unified in 5 years' time, the Snyder Cut has to be successful now, and I feel there has to be the base for it. There has to be something like, yes, don't give me a new Justice League movie now or in 2 years. That's fine. I want all these other movies to come out, but I want this to be a success. I
do tell you what. Zack Snyder better deliver with these cryptic tweets and all this he's been doing for 3 years.
That's all
He better.
I'm telling you, dog.
This movie cannot suck.
Comes up, that movie come out in this ass, I'm gonna fucking say it. I don't give a damn. I don't give a fuck.
I'm with you.
I'm straight up saying, like, yo, We waited 3 years for that shit. You just put a whole bunch of, cause like every time I hear something about the Snyder Cut, once again, I feel like I have to keep saying this.
The hype is too high.
But
That's the
I
issue.
heard, no, I've heard so much shit that's supposed to be in the movie. I'm like, God damn. I feel like you just kind of like saying shit the fans want to hear. Like, oh yeah, that's in there. Oh yeah, that was in there too. And when I see the movie, I'll be like, yo, shit was in there, but it just feel like it's just a lot of fucking movie. It's like Rise of Skywalker. I feel like the Rise of Skywalker was just a lot of fucking movies.
Fan service, pure fan service. That's all it was. And
I feel like
So
it'll go one or two ways. It'll either be too much, like why, like this is way too much, or he'll be like it's in there and it's literally like a 10 second. It's like 10 seconds. Like
that's what it might also be as well.
Be too much or not,
but
he does. He has to deliver. You can't be talking shit for 3 years and then not deliver.
No. Let me ask this because we need to move on because we are taking some time. But one question to kind of wrap this up: if this succeeds, do you think Zack Snyder is actually going to come back?
No.
Nope. You think he's out? Moses?
What do you want, Jackson? Like honestly, what would you want to see?
I'm just asking. If
no, there's nothing. Like Zack Snyder's a great director in his own way. But like, what would you want to see him do? I don't want to see him touch Superman again.
No.
I'm just asking. I'm literally just asking because people have actually started saying that. Oh, he'll come back in. He'll come back in. I'm like, is he really? Would he? I don't know.
Nothing against Zack Snyder, but you know, only thing I probably want Zack Snyder to do is a Justice League Dark, but they already doing that on HBO Max with I want to say J.J. Abrams, which I think is going to be better than what Zack Snyder do. That's just me personally.
Okay,